Hi everyone, Josh here. I hope you're all doing well. So in today's video I want to discuss something that is a hot topic of conversation in the Amazon reseller community, and that's the topic of price tanking. So this is when, for those of you that don't know, this is when you buy a product that, say for example, at the time you buy it, it's selling on Amazon for £15, but 1 week later the price has dropped down to 8, and you're like, what? I'm now going to be either breaking even or I'm going to be losing money. And what most sellers do at this point, what most sellers do who are not educated in the ways of reselling and supply and demand and how this whole game works, is they will panic clear. They will clear their stock, sell out their inventory because they're selling it before it drops further. Right, and the problem with that is it contributes to that problem. That's what causes it. Like, somebody sees one person come on, then there's just a race to the bottom, and then the price gets plummeted down, and that's it. And everybody look like the only people who win there are the customers and Amazon, because they're still getting their fee. You as the seller, as the reseller, you lose out. Like, you've had to fit the bill for someone else's convenience, which, we want to do that, but we also want to profit and benefit from it ourselves. That's why we're in business, why we do what we do. So in this video, I want to talk about a few different things. I want to talk about price tanking because it is inevitable. Like, if you're a reseller and you're selling on Amazon, you're selling on eBay, whichever platform you're selling on, this is going to happen. And if you're going to be in the game, then you've got to level with it. You've got to expect it, anticipate it, and know how to handle it, how to deal with it, and what to do, and when not to panic. So let me just start off by saying, more often than not, like 90% of the time, if a product price does this, so it's like, sorry, I'm going to do some terrible drawing now. Say it's at £15 when you sell it, and then all of a sudden, over time, bang, the price drops out, and it levels down to like this £8 mark here, right? And what's going to happen over a course of days or weeks, or however long it takes, the people who were the contributors, the hobby sellers, as I call them, the hobby sellers here, that don't really know what they're doing, they're maybe new to the game, and always to blame for this. Like, a lot of people come in and they see this happen, and it's like buying a bad stock or cryptocurrency. For example, in cryptocurrency, I just made the exact same mistake. I was buying an alternative coin called XRP, Ripple, and I bought it at 22 pence. The price tanked down to 12 pence. I panicked, and I thought, I've got to get my money out before it drops any lower, and I pulled it out at 12 pence. It's now subsequently gone up to like 45p. So I would have doubled my money. Instead, I lost half my money. My problem there, my issue, it was an emotional decision, an emotional issue that I personally had. I got out here. I exited here, right? And that is what lots of sellers, do. They exit, and then that results in a loss, which we don't want. We don't want a loss. We want profit. Like, every now and then you're going to lose. But so long as you win more than you lose, you're okay. It's going to happen. You're going to lose money on some products. Again, that's inevitable as well. It is as inevitable as prices dropping. But what we need to know is that in most circumstances, we can recover it. So how do you do? What do you do in these circumstances? If you bought a product, say you paid, I don't know, maybe you paid £8 for it. You probably wouldn't have paid that much. Maybe you paid £5, right? So let's say you paid £5. So at £15, it's going to net you about £4 or £5 profit. At £8, you're going to be probably breaking even at best, probably losing money. So we want it to come back up here. So as these sales, so say this is a sale, this is a sale, this is a sale, so on and so forth. What's going to happen is this line, this price, is gradually going to creep back up again until all the sellers that panic drop their prices sell out, and then we're going to have bang, price jump. So what happens at this point is it crops back up to where it was before, if not higher, because those of us in the know who were at £15 were like, screw this, I'm going up, I'm going to put my price up, I'm just going to sit and wait. So we might increase our price to say £20, because by this point we know that all of these people that are reducing the price, they're spiking the algorithm, because your sales rank, the BSR, bestseller rank, is also, let me just get a different color for that, the BSR is also dropping. It's dropping down with the price, because with lower prices, more people buy, and that's what happens. It spikes the algorithm. So the algorithm gets spiked here. The product ranks higher in organic search for whatever it is, so that when the price comes back up, yes, the sales rank comes up with it. It increases, which means that there's less people buying it, but it's ranking higher, and we're going to be more likely to secure a sale at a higher price. So what I'm saying to you in this example, in this beautiful drawing here, is that you need to wait it out. If this happens to you, if you buy a product at a certain price, with the plan to sell it at a certain price, do not join the panic. Do not follow the herd. Do not drop your price unless you have some sort of financial reason to do so. Again, there will always be the exception to the rule. Every now and then we're going to need to follow the crowd, clear our inventory, get our money back and invest it in something else. But I'd be looking back at the keeper charts to see where the price kind of hovers around at. I'd also be considering to myself, is this a product that is in demand? Because, let me just get a new board here. If we consider the fact that a product has a certain amount of demand, so let's just draw another little graph here. A product has a certain level of demand, and it has a price range. So we've got price, and let's have quantity. So that's the quantity of the item. And then, say for example, we have demand across here, and we have, we'll have this one's demand, this one's supply. So this is demand, and then we have price over here. Sorry, demand, that's not price, that's supply. So we have price along the side, so it is higher, obviously higher up the chart, and lower down here. So as demand increases, price increases. Okay. As supply increases, price tends to decrease. So like there's an equilibrium here in the middle. This point right here, this X marks the spot, is kind of where most sales are going to happen. Around this point, this is where you'll be profitable. This is where down here you won't be profitable, and this is where you'll be wildly profitable. If you're in here, this is kind of the sweet spot. This is where most of the action happens. But of course, if we are in a situation where, say for example, there's a hot deal on B&M right now, like B&M for retail arbitrage is a hotspot for sourcing products. I go to B&M myself. Now people will go in there and they will see a really cracking deal, and there might be like a £5 investment for a £10 profit, which is great. It's like 300% ROI, which is awesome. So you clear the shelf, say you buy like 50 of them. You get them home, you list them, and then a week later they're down to £8. You're like, well, what's going on? What's going on? You're stuck then with 50 in stock until the price comes back up, which it probably will do. Like more often than not, it will. So what I would recommend you do to help yourself in these situations, unless you're cash rich, unless you've got good cash flow situations and lots of money to invest, and you can afford to sit on high amounts of stock for extended periods of time, you want to do what I call investing shallow and wide. And what I mean by that is, shallow means you don't go too heavily into any one product, so you keep your quantities on the low side, and you invest in a wide selection of products. So what shallow and wide means to you is entirely up to your interpretation and your cash flow situation and all the different specifics that come into play. So shallow might just be 5 units for you. Perhaps you normally buy 20, so instead you're going to go 5. And wide, perhaps you only buy sort of 10 different products at a time. So you want to be then looking at perhaps 20, 30, 40 different products. Now, of course, this comes with its own set of challenges, but such is life and such is business. We just have to learn to adapt. But if you want to be able to combat and accommodate the inevitable situation of price tanking as a reseller on Amazon, you're going to need to adopt these processes. The best advice I can give you is to wait it out. And of course, I know sometimes that's not always an option. You may have to bite the bullet and exit the market at that point. But then what you can do is like business is all about ups and downs. It's a roller coaster ride. It's always like this. Like I said, as long as you win more than you lose, you're going to be winning. And I often see people complaining about this, like, oh, not been a good month, or it's not been a good week, or something like that. But what I've often found is when I have these downtimes, then it blows right up shortly after to make up for the downtimes. There is no business that just does this. There is no business that just consistently does the same all the time. In fact, it doesn't look like this. It's much more like this. So, it's uneven. It's going to go up and down, especially when you've got other people, other entities at work that you have no control over. So once again, like using the B&M hot deal as an example, when you're buying that, you need to ask yourself, and when you're considering how many units to buy, you need to ask yourself, if I'm buying this product now, how many other sellers have access to this? Is it likely that there's going to be a lot of other sellers? In looking at this chart again, is supply going to increase? If supply increases, then price decreases. When supply decreases, price increases. Demand generally stays the same. Demand's pretty static. It doesn't change a huge amount unless you get some sort of product like during lockdown, Nintendo Switch consoles. The demand for those consoles increased. Supply remained the same, but because the demand had increased, price has increased. So you just need to consider, like think in those terms, and you can't go too far wrong. See, again, things can catch us off guard, situations that we didn't anticipate and could never have predicted. But so long as you kind of keep this in the back of your mind all the time, then you can't really go too far wrong. So stick at your guns, stick at your prices if you possibly can. Don't go too deep into any one product. Go shallow and wide, invest in a few lower quantities perhaps than you normally do of more different types of products, and you will win in the long term. I was trying to find an example of a product. I was searching through my Amazon order history to find I had a Lego set that I bought for £7, and so did everyone else. It was from Asda, and everybody else bought it too, and there were probably thousands and thousands of them in stock throughout the entire Amazon seller network, but it was selling hundreds if not thousands of units every single month. And what happened is, of course, when the supply increased, all the people who were not necessarily educated in how to hold their prices, they dropped them, so the BSR got spiked, more and more got sold, all the prices went on deal sites, and then those of us that had held fast on the prices, once all the low price products sellers had sold out, the price increased. And after the price increased, those of us who'd held their prices benefited from nice big margins. Yes, we had to wait longer, but we got a greater return on our investments by waiting an extended period of time. Now, the other situation that comes into play with price tanking, and this is where people panic even more, is if the almighty Amazon are responsible for it. And what I see most people do is they panic because they look at the quantity that Amazon has in stock and they've got 999, which you're thinking, oh my god, I've got to wait for Amazon to sell 999, and that's the maximum that Buybot Pro and all those sorts of tools will show you that Amazon has in stock. There's no way to find out how many they actually have. They've probably got a lot more than that. But people are like, oh no, Amazon have just dropped like half the price. I've got to wait for them to sell 1,000 of them before my price will increase. That's not the case. Again, if you look back on Camel, or Keeper, or some pricing chart history graph plotting application, you'll see that Amazon's prices are erratic. They're all over the place. They will increase, decrease their prices, and they tend to do it in line with what other sellers are doing, what demand is like. Amazon slapped a lot of wrists during lockdown 1.0 for price gouging. But someone went through and actually looked at Amazon's pricing, and they did it. They did increase their prices slightly to accommodate the increase in demand. Where there was a lower supply. So Amazon are guilty of all this as well, not quite to the extent of what some people were, but all the same, Amazon's prices are erratic and they will go up and down. And sometimes they'll show 999 in stock, but actually they'll just disappear off the listing. Why that happens, I can't say. But that's just how it works. So if Amazon come on the listing half the price, before you panic and react emotionally to it, go take a look at the Keeper charts, put the ASIN into the Keeper search, and have a look at how the prices behaved previously with Amazon as the seller, and then you can make an educated decision an educated guess as to what's going to happen in the future. History tends to repeat itself over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Look at anything that's happened in history, and that phenomenon repeats itself. Anyway, I've talked for long enough in this video. I hope you found it useful. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comment section below. By all means, give me a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe because I'll be posting a bit more content as the year goes on. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you all again real soon.